Well, this is a lie. Healthiest countries to live in. Look, Lindsay Galloway, 21st of April. It's from 3 years ago. Healthiest countries. Don't know why it's being. I'll just be looking at it. Um, Top ranked nations. Well, the first thing needs to be understood is that wearing a face mask isn't healthy because, well, there are various obvious reasons. The first thing is that you will be rebreathing your exhaled air. Your exhaled air is not as has got a less percentage of oxygen than than the fresh air. So you will be rebreathing um, ex, excess air. That can't be healthy. It's like drinking your own piss. The second issue is that you will be breathing in the particulates and microfibers from the face mask. Quite often these face masks are made of, well, artificial fibers, and you will be rebreathing in minute amounts of microfiber into your lungs. Think asbestos. You look stupid as well. We can't see your smile. This woman looks brain dead, to be fair. If she was wearing that mask for more than it's a brand new mask obviously, but if she was to wear it for more than a short period, there would be stains on it. It would look very unsightly. People should not be doing this to their bodies. They shouldn't be frightened of air. I still see people in face masks in the UK. Because the weather's mild, people don't wear them very much. As the weather gets worse and the fear mongering increases, I'm guessing that face masks will become more common. It's shocking that people don't seem to have learned anything in the last 3 years. Because many people are already used to wearing masks. Right. Okay. Well, people think that people in China generally wear masks. They don't. I lived in China for 10 years. They were very rare. Occasionally, if there was a lot of smog or if there was sandstorm, in Beijing in the spring there's quite frequently sandstorms, then some people did wear masks. I never wore a mask in all the time I was in China, and frankly people don't wear them very often. Probably during the COVID nonsense people did, but then they were forced to. Chinese are conformist people. The government are pretty horrible when it comes to forcing people to comply. So a lot of people just wanted not to get noticed, right? State of emergency. South Korea again. There's a lot of people believe in so-called science, including people who should know better. It's not science. If people are getting funded to say certain things, it's not science. Science is, when people can really make independent decisions and give their best analysis without fear or favour and without being paid or punished. You see, when people are paid to promote something, their advice can no longer be considered impartial. And similarly, if people are threatened that they can't say things, like for example, professionals who opposed vaccine mandates and things like that were punished and lost their jobs or couldn't get another job or that kind of thing. If how is that? How can we call that science? Science is when competing ideas compete and the best ones win. But where the government forced people to have one point of view, that isn't science. And science is without all the bribes and the money that's changing hands. People got bribed to cooperate with this shit. So no, South Korea is not a good example. Well, Israel, of course. Israel's always got their fingers in all this shit. But the interesting thing is that the Israelis treated their own people just like shit. I mean, in a way, it's kind of reassuring because, in theory, people who are so-called anti-Semitic assume that Jews are treated with favourable status, and in some cases that's true. But clearly, the Israeli people became guinea pigs for this wicked test. People don't need to be tested. If you're not feeling ill, you don't need to waste people's time. I wouldn't, you know, can you imagine going to the doctor and say, "Hi doctor, I'm fine, can I have some tests please?" You know? Especially when there's a queue of people who really are ill outside waiting to be seen. No, no, no. Flu is a symptom, is a symptom illness. Without the symptoms, you're not ill. It's as simple as that. Right, you need the symptoms. If you haven't got the symptoms, you're not ill. You can't have flu without symptoms. You can't be, they're trying to persuade people that you're like a carrier of flu without even having symptoms. That's not how flu works. And that's all it was, flu. And even if you told people, look, flu completely disappeared at exactly the same time a brand new type of flu was discovered, then people simply won't accept it. Because they've been told by people on the TV that, you know, that you're wrong. And that's as simple as that. It's shocking. Israel. Coronavirus tests per million population. Because they know they'll be covered. It's free of charge. Yeah. Look at this. I mean, isn't this ridiculous? Isn't this ridiculous? Look at this poor woman. She's having something stuck up her nose by this man. I mean, come on. Can she be so naive? Look at this. This can't be healthy. I mean, look at this. It's unbelievable. How can people fall for this? And this man here, I'd be shocked to do a job like that. I couldn't accept a job like that. Could you? Sticking things up people's noses for no reason, just to frighten them? Germany. Every single country was in on it at the same time. And that's the point. This couldn't have been a genuine surprise event. It couldn't have been, because the international response from all around the world, with different cultures, different climates, different geographies, different times of year, was identical and almost took place simultaneously. In fact, the speeches that the government ministers were making around the world in different languages were in many cases identical. Almost as if, well, as if they had a central script. And that's what happened. And to me, at least, it was so obvious. I knew instantaneously when this shit kicked off that it was just a scam, because they're always overhyping flu. Climate change, flu, terrorism, it's all part of the same frighten the public scenario. And frankly, you don't have to be a deep thinker. I mean, you shouldn't need to be a deep thinker to understand that this is what's happening. And yet, for some reason, the public can't get it. I just don't understand how people can be that dumb. I just don't understand. Don't understand. And yet they are. The people are that dumb. So anyway, I found this from 3 years ago. It's gone viral. People stay home. People, I mean, people, and yet people, look at this poor woman with her brain dead eyes, living in travel. It's not travel. And for 3 years, I mean, obviously the situation now is much better. And I have to say that I don't know anyone personally who regrets not having the vaccine. But on the other hand, I don't actually know anyone either who has died because of the vaccine. So it may be that in most cases, for the vast majority of people, the vaccine had no particular beneficial effect. The people, I mean, it could be a long term, it's like poisoning someone slowly. Every vaccine you have will make you slightly iller. You know, if you're planning to get rid of your husband or wife, you don't poison them instantly because it would be suspicious. So if you just add a little bit of poison to their tea every day for the next 3 years, you can get rid of them that way. That would be that's how people usually kill people, by making them very, very slowly ill. Pretty mean, actually. I mean, I actually know a woman who's capable of doing that. It's the sort of thing women would do, isn't it, to be fair? Although having said that, to be fair, I did know a guy who wanted to make his wife fat during divorce, and he used to put some sugar in the kettle or something. So it was a pretty horrible thing to do. One would have assumed his wife would realise there was something going on. To adulterate someone's food is pretty criminal. I've just contradicted myself there. But you know, like I said, I'm not a sneaky person, and I don't like to do underhand things. I really don't. But we live in a world where lots of things are underhand, and lots of people are prepared to do underhand things. People's paranoia and hypochondria is something that these people know how to play on. And me, I'm not that bothered about flu. I mean, I didn't understand. What's all the fuss? Okay, there's a type of flu. Some people might get ill. Sick people might die, as they always have. And they bigged up the death statistics to make it seem as if the deaths were because of flu. But the death statistics were really, until the vaccines that is, the death statistics were completely normal for that time of year. Completely normal. It's just what people alleged to have died from was allegedly with COVID. So they just took normal death and tried to scare people with normal death rates, that's all, which they never normally mention. And now they don't care about death rates at all, even though the death rates have gone up. But, you know, for the most part, I do think that probably most people were given placebos in order to not alert people. Because if too many people did actually die, and lots of people were aware of people they knew who died after being vaccinated. I mean, I know people who had heart problems shortly after being vaccinated. And, you know, the doctors just said it was a coincidence. Personally, I don't think it is, because myocarditis is a stated side effect for COVID vaccines. But we're always told that, you know, for most people it's safe, and that the benefits of the vaccine far outweigh the side effects, you know, which they claim are incredibly rare, even though they're not. But as for me, I don't care what new fancy name they give BA 2.86 or whatever bloody name they give the vaccine of these viruses, which they claim keep on mutating. In which case, if they do keep on mutating, what's the point of all these new vaccines? I mean, they're not protecting you from the previous ones. You've got to have more and more. And it is incredible. And what most people can't understand is that why would they do it? And it is even to me, even with my very low opinion of human nature, I find it extraordinary that clever people would really waste time trying to deceive people this way. And for most people who are simple-minded but not particularly evil, they would not be able to comprehend why the people in power are so keen to murder us all. You know, I just don't get it. And that is, you know, the big lie. It's always easier to get away with big lies. People in the supermarket would count their pennies. But if something as big as this is beyond their comprehension, that's why they can't get it. But indeed it is happening. And unfortunately, unless people wake up, it's going to get worse. Thank you.